In a wet, rainy, sloppy, offensively challenged early part of the game tonight down there at Citizens Bank Park, your Phillies came out and with a win, and a great win, a character win, a team win, 6-5 over the Seattle Mariners tonight. Welcome back to the edge of welcome back to the Phightins final here on the edge of Philly sports with your boy Matty B. And a character win is what I'm calling it tonight because it started out good, it got bad, and it got frustrating, and then it got good again, and then it got really good with Jose Alvarado coming in the ninth and hammering down the save. Phillies walk out of this game 6-5 winners in a game that literally I turned off. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I didn't turn the game off at one point. When the middle innings, when the Phillies were putting runners on as they have all season, and then leaving runners on as they have all season, it became too much for this guy to bear. I had to kind of step away before I did some damage to my living space. So, but then I came back with a clearer head and was able to watch that great rally where they banged off 4 straight singles en route to the 6-5 victory. A huge win tonight. Back to 12-13, back to one game under 500. Well, let's roll this thing. We have a chance tomorrow. Take the series against Seattle as we get ready to play the Astros and the Dodgers to finish out the week. Folks, how you doing tonight? I know it was, for those of you who might have been down there tonight, I know it was one of them nights, right? Wet weather. When is summer coming, folks? Can anybody tell me that? I really need to know when summer. I can put away the hoodies and the long pants and start wearing some summer stuff. Because tonight was just a bone cold, wet night, and I'm sure it was that way down at the ballpark. Let's head over to the box score because we got a lot to unpack tonight. A lot of stuff did happen that we need to talk about. Let's talk about some of the scoring. As I mentioned, it started off really good. Nick Castellanos would get things going with a home run to right center in the first inning, a 2-run jack scoring Bryson Stott, making it 2-0. And then it would come apart in the top of the second, the very next half inning. J.P. Crawford, former Philly, would hit a 3-run shot. All right, I'm sorry. He would hit a grand slam to make the score 4-2. I forgot it was a grand slam. It was a grand slam to make it 4-2. And then follow that up with Rodriguez's homer to make it 5-2 as Taijuan Walker looked a little scared out there at the mound at that point. Not looking good, not looking sharp, looking really, really scared. In the bottom of the third inning, the Phillies would scratch their way back. Kyle Schwarber would knock in Sosa to make it 5-3. And then Castellanos in the fifth would knock in Stott to make it 5-4. JT would get things tied up there in the eighth inning when he would reach on his infield single, and then Castellanos would score to make it to tie things up. And then Alec Bohm with a big time base hit, driving in Brandon Marsh a couple batters later, or maybe even a batter later. It was the third out of 4 singles in that inning, in that eighth inning, to give the Phillies a 6-5 lead. Jose Alvarado would come on and shut the door in the ninth inning. 6-5 Phillies, your winners. Some offensive standouts. Bryson Stott 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored and a walk. Nick Castellanos, how can you? I mean, I got to give it to him. So far, so good. 3 for 4, 2 runs, 3 RBIs, and that home run in the first inning. JT 2 for 4, showing some signs of life tonight with a hit. I'm sorry, with an RBI and a strikeout. A couple other notables here. I want to bring up one player offensively and ask a question, and maybe you guys can help me out. What is Jake Cave doing on this roster? Can anybody help me out? His batting average is now down to 186. He went 0 for 4 tonight, 2 strikeouts, just an automatic out these days. Well, is there a reason why Jake Cave is still taking a spot up in this lineup? Somebody help me out. Somebody help me out and tell me what I'm missing, what I'm not seeing that possibly somebody else is seeing in Jake Cave. Don't really understand that. For the Mariners, J.P. Crawford, 3 for 4, a run, 4 RBIs, that grand slam, the hit of the night, maybe the hit of his career for the Seattle Mariners offensively. Pitching-wise, Taijuan Walker, 4 innings. Now, he left due to an injury. I don't know any updates on that yet. But before the injury, obviously that second inning was an inning he would like to forget. If you take the second inning out and you add the first and the third, not a bad performance for the guy. But the second inning, somehow, somewhere, he just lost it, lost the strike zone. Everything was up. When you give up a grand slam to J.P. Crawford, you know life is not working out well for you. He went 4 innings before being lifted, 5 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. He struck out 6 and he walked 2, which is another befuddling part about Taijuan Walker's outing. He was striking people out. But that, when you give up a grand slam and a solo home run, all that seems to kind of go out the window, and everyone just remembers the grand slam. The hero of the night, Luis Ortiz, 2 innings, a hit, 2 strikeouts, really kind of settled things down for the Phillies tonight. Really did. At the time that he came in the game, it didn't look like the Phillies were going to hang in there much longer. As I said, the pitching was kind of on the edge. The offense had gone anemic, and Ortiz settled things down. Heck of a find there by the farm system on him as he continues to pitch really well. Sir Anthony comes in, another strong inning from him, an inning. I did give up a hit, but he had 2 strikeouts. Kimbrough, who actually gets credited for the win tonight, pitched an inning of scoreless ball with 2 strikeouts. And as I mentioned, Alvarado comes in with his 4th save of the season. One inning pitched. He gave up that hit, but he struck out 2 to include the final out of the game. And there you have yourself a 6-5 Phillies win. It's outstanding game, outstanding character win. And I'm telling you, I was done. I walked away. I turned the game off. I'm getting tired of watching them put people on and not be able to score. It got really frustrating, and I had to get away. But they came back in the later innings and they cashed in playing small ball. The power went away, but they were able to get 4 straight singles en route to the win. So all's well. I guess it ends well. Oh, Big Al says we are hoping for June like Schwarber. Yeah, another really frustrating night for Kyle Schwarber. He had that hit there late in the game, which was good, and he was on the bases a couple times, but you know, just not able to really get anything going offensively. We're missing that power from him. Jeff says, any updates on Walker? Not that I know. If anybody out there has any updates on Ty Walker of what happened and what his status is, this is definitely an injury that we cannot afford at this particular moment in time. I know Ranger Suarez is about to begin a rehab assignment. That will probably be at least 2, maybe even 3 starts before he comes back. I don't know what the other option would be to bring somebody else up from Lehigh. Not maybe insert Chris Sanchez back into the starting rotation. I'm not sure, but I definitely am wishing that Ty Walker is not seriously hurt. That was more of a precautionary night. When you're dealing with those wet conditions, when you're dealing with a wet mound, a potential, maybe a little injury could worsen with a slip. Maybe they were just erring on the side of caution. Not really sure. If anybody has any updates, please feel free to share them. Chris says, what's up? What's up, Chris? How you been? Walker, in my opinion, was a bad sign by the Phillies. Right now, the early returns, I would say, are split. He seems to pitch well at times. As I mentioned tonight, he's like night and day. 6 strikeouts, but he gives up a grand slam to J.P. Crawford. It kind of washes all those strikeouts away. I still think it's a good signing, and I still think it will be a good signing. Uh, you know, I do. I think Walker was a good signing. Obviously, what Zach Eflin is doing right now, he's tearing it up for the Rays. You can kind of go back and forth on that, but I honestly think in the situation, it was a good signing by the Phillies, and I think it'll work out. I think we just got to give it a little bit more time. Keeping Harper's seat warm to next weekend. Are you crazy, Al? Are you all hopped up on goofballs? Bryce Harper's not coming back next weekend. Bryce Harper ain't coming back till after Memorial Day. Mark my words. Come on, Al. Stop giving the people false hope. Ellis says, good win tonight. Ellis was a great win tonight. It was a team character win. Absolutely great win for the Phillies tonight. Jeff says they have the #1 bullpen. I'm not prepared to speak those words in April about the Phillies bullpen. Might be true, but I'm not going to say that in April. Not at all. Great comeback tonight by Big Mike chimes in with great comeback tonight. All those things are absolutely correct. One of the things, as I mentioned, though, and I'm going to go over this with you tonight, or right now, actually. So, to my point of leaving runners on base, this is a thing that I've been kind of harping on this is my second season talking about how putrid this is. Tonight, the Phillies were 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. That's 60 for 239 for the season if you're keeping score at home. The batting average, though, is at 251. Not horrible. But when you're talking runners in scoring position and batting average, if you're not batting 270 and above, you got to get your things straightened out. And 251, they seem to be kind of flirting between 245 and 250. It's got to get better. We just can't continue to leave these runners stranded. On the season, the Phillies have left in total runners on base. 185 runners have been left on base for the Phillies this season so far. That averages out to about 7.5 a game. That is way too high. That's at least 3 wins right there, folks, if we can get that number in half. It's at least 3 wins that the Phillies have deprived themselves of by leaving runners on base. We just got to get more. We got to get that big hit's got to come from somebody. And it's not coming consistently from anybody in that lineup. Trey Turner continues to confuse me about what is ailing him. No consistent play at the plate from Trey Turner up to this point. He has flashes, but then he kind of goes away. Jake Cave. I've seen enough of Jake Cave. Get him the hell out of the lineup. He is an automatic out. And I'm not just, this is not April jitters or anything like that. Jake Cave is lost at the plate. I don't know what he's doing in there. Please, for the love of God, get him out of there. Man, Mike turns back in with Nick. Nick the Stick has been awesome. He has been. And this was, again, I said this at the beginning of the season. Nick Castellanos was the linchpin, in my opinion. He was the one was gonna keep things moving in the right direction until Bryce Harper got back. We needed him to come back to some sort of the 2021 version of Nick Castellanos if we were going to be able to hang in there. And he has thus far. The power is starting to come, but he's hitting to all fields. That is what you want to see. The power will come. The home runs will come, but he's using all fields. He's confident. He's swinging well. He's somewhat plate disciplined. I mean, he's still kind of out there wildly hacking at times, but for the most part, he is definitely a better confident hitter than we saw last season at any point during the year. At any point. My question is, where is the Trey Turner we saw in WBC? He's probably still the WBC there, Chris. You're right. 5 home runs in 4 games that Trey Turner hit while playing for Team USA. Maybe he needs to play against Venezuela and Mexico. Maybe we need to get him involved in some international ball. Can we go on a goodwill tour of the Far East and maybe Trey Turner will start hitting home runs again? And I'm not even asking him to hit home runs. I'm asking him to hit. I mean, he lost his leadoff spot. Trey Turner has batted leadoff for pretty much the bulk of his career. Yeah, he kind of fluctuates between leadoff and number 2, but he was brought here, folks, to be a leadoff guy. And thus far, it hasn't worked. I mean, he's been bumped out of that spot for Bryson Stott. I need me some Trey Turner. I advocated hard to get him here, and thus far, it's not been that good. It hasn't really been that good at all. So as we kind of continue to muggle through April, and he'll get his opportunities, Trey Turner needs to be more of Trey Turner. But tonight, it's not all about. We're not talking about Trey Turner tonight. Tonight we're talking about a great Phillies team win. And let's look around now in Major League Baseball at some of the action tonight. If you're not in the rainy Delaware Valley, out there in Cincinnati, it is 4-3 Padres over the Cubs in the top of the ninth. In the bottom of the second, just underway out in Anaheim, 4-1 Angels over the Athletics. Top of the second out there in Candlestick Park in San Francisco. I know it's not called Candlestick Park. It's 1-0 Cardinals. I'm 50 years old. Cut me some slack. The Reds are up on the Rangers 5-3. That game has gone final in Cincinnati. That was the first game of the doubleheader. No, I'm sorry. Yep, the Reds beat the Rangers 5-3. The Orioles over the Red Sox 6-2. The Blue Jays over the White Sox 8-0. Guardians over the Rockies 4-1. Yankees over the Twins 12-6. Brewers over the Tigers 6-2. Diamondbacks handle business against the Chiefs. God damn, the Royals 2-0. Pirates 8-1 over the Dodgers. Astros 1-0 winners over the Rays. The Nationals over the Mets 4-1. And the Braves over the Marlins 6-4. And there you have your scores around Major League Baseball. Folks, tomorrow the Phillies will wrap up the 3-game set against the Seattle Mariners. We will not be back tomorrow night for a Phightins final because it is like Christmas Day and Super Bowl Sunday all wrapped into one here in the Delaware Valley tomorrow. The draft will take precedent, but for those of you who care, which I am one, the Phillies will send Matt Strom. He'll be opposed by George Kirby in the business person special down there at Citizen Bank Park. 105 start time tomorrow for those of you who are on your way to the ballpark. Please head down there and check out some good baseball. Phillies looking for the series victory over the Seattle Mariners and a way to kind of get some momentum on their way to Houston and then out to LA to wrap up this interesting week-long gauntlet that they're going to go through. But all in all, what I saw tonight was encouraging. It was good, frustrating, encouraging, great. Maybe that is encapsulating of the Phillies in 2023. They get off to these that they can blow your mind at times. They frustrate the living crap out of you, and then they find their way back into some games and they win. Again, this has not been a season where you had the most faith and confidence in this team to battle back from a 5-2 deficit, which they were in just moments after they were feeling great about being up 2-0. Talk about a kick in the junk. You're up 2-0. You come back and you give up 5 runs in the next half inning, and you're down 5-2. And then you lose your starting pitcher 2 innings later, and then you find yourself kind of potentially teetering in a rainy night. Maybe you lose some focus and some motivation. They did not. They kept chipping away. They kept chipping away. They kept getting on base. They kept getting some runners in. It wasn't as much as I thought they could, but they got the job done. And then at the end of the night, they battled their way in that great 8th inning and were able to take the lead and hold on to it. Jose Alvarado coming in with the stick save, his 4th of the year. So encouraging for the Phillies, 12-13, as I said, on the season, as we now go for the series win tomorrow against the Seattle Mariners. Folks, it has been an honor and a privilege. Before I go, gotta pay the bills. Al's watching. I don't want him to get all mad at me. Don't forget, May 13th, from 1 to 8 p.m., Wiffle Ball Madness down there at Dolan's. Mickey Morandini, Charlie Manuel, Jamie the Sports Guy, and Hollis Hank Thomas will be on site, and maybe yours truly as well. And as I mentioned earlier, don't forget, tomorrow it is on like Donkey Kong 2023 NFL Draft, and we got you covered here at EOP. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7:30, and it will go all the way through the first round of the draft, and then Friday at I believe 6:30, or coverage. I think coverage tomorrow is at 6:30, and then 7:30 on Friday. Friday night we got you for rounds 2 and 3, and we will take you that way. And then Sunday we have a draft recap show, which will encapsulate everything that's happened over the weekend. So you have no other place to look other than the Edge of Philly Sports for all your draft coverage. Please be tuning in and all the great stuff that we're going to be doing for the draft. And if you can't wait, and why should you, head over to the website, head over to our YouTube channel, check out all the stuff we've already done for the draft. The guys have worked their butts off with that. Don't forget, when you're over there, like and subscribe the live long day as much as you can to help us out here at EOP. And if you want to travel like the pros, like I mentioned, tomorrow, that's the trip. I'm sure that's kind of too late to get in on that Kansas City draft trip. But if you're out there right now in KC watching this, good for you. Have a great time. And remember where you're from and rep accordingly. But there's some other trips coming up in May. The Union and the Phillies twofer in Denver on May 13th through the 16th. And all the other great stuff that we got to get out on a better slide, Al, who's watching. That's how you take a shot whenever I can. We have there's all kinds of stuff coming out this summer at Philly Sports Trips, and don't forget the Eagle schedule is about to drop, so that's going to get even better. So make sure you head over to www.phillysportstrips.com. I'm sure I added too many W's there. You know the drill by now. And if you have any workers' compensation, motor vehicle accidents, personal injury, or criminal law, Dave Cherry, 610-565-0300 is the man you need to contact. Tell Dave that the Edge of Philly Sports, the Phightins Phinal, and Matty B sent you. Not necessarily in that order. You can always put me first where I belong, and Dave will take great care of you. And Sherry's tickets for those great and hard to find concert, theater, and sports venue tickets, www.sherrystickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Purchase something over there and you save an additional 10% if you enter the promo code EOP10, and they'll take good care of you. So yeah, that was a mouthful. Walter chimes in with Go Phightins. Absolutely, Walter. 12-13. Get Jake Cave the hell out of my lineup. Send his ass away. We picked him up on waivers from the Baltimore Orioles. Send him back to Baltimore. Maybe we can get like an order of crabs for him or something. I don't know, but he needs to go. He's an automatic out. He's useless out there. Uh, you know, bring up Guthrie. I haven't checked. Maybe I should have checked his stat line. I don't care. Bring up Kingerly. That's how desperate I am to get this guy out of here. Jake Cave is a lost in the sauce individual. I don't need to see him toiling around with his 186 batting average anymore. Get him out of here. So thanks for chiming in, Walter. I know you didn't mention Jake Cave. I'm kind of obsessing over it right now. But folks, it's been great and it's been an honor. We will be back here on the Phightins Final on Saturday night Saturday night, uh, as we will recap the Houston Astro game for you. Until we talk again, go Phils, and oh yeah, guess what I get to do tonight? Hell, Harry the K, what you got? He